And you are?
My name is Dave Hawkins. I'm one of the owners of Lost Weekend Video here in San Francisco.
How long have you owned for?
We've been here for 13 years, and hopefully another 13 more if we can ride it out.
Is it difficult lately? I mean, it was actually assumed that one of the reasons this was coming together was just rumored in the line was that things might be difficult, which we hope not.
Things are definitely difficult. I mean, things are difficult, I think, for everybody, all over, but we're definitely facing, the digital world. Bookstores, record stores, and video stores, I think, are taking a brunt of a lot of the, people downloading, people just getting things for free, people going to Amazon instead of going to their bookstores, going to Netflix instead of coming to video stores. So we're definitely at least trying to show people why why a good alternative is something to keep. And, I think we feel the same way for all kinds of small business stores, particularly bookstores, record stores, in addition to video stores. And that's partly why we're doing it. And partly we're also just doing it to have fun. We've had bands in here for many, many years. Just sort of random friends of ours. Erase Errata played, or like an incarnation of Erase Errata called the Go-Go-Go's, did a Go-Go's cover. We just had a Brazilian band in here a couple weeks ago. So we do a lot of sort of random weird events that just are not publicized particularly. We just put them on for fun. But this really kind of came about when we just on a sort of spur of the moment called Bill Lee, the baseball player from the Boston Red Sox. Spaceman Bill Lee, who lives in Vermont, and just gave him the idea. It was like, hey, we have your documentary, and we would love to show it. If you're ever out here, just for any kind of business, would you be willing to come and have an evening with, or we'll show your movie, we'll talk to you, and have a Q&A with the crowd. And he was totally into it, and we did that about a month ago.
Awesome.
And so the Night Tonight actually sort of stemmed from that because Jonathan Richman came to that and really enjoyed it and was like, I would like to do something like this. So that's basically how this evening came about, was from the first event that we did.
That's fantastic.
And so we're definitely going to try to do some others, but it's a matter of kind of coming up with the right format and the right people, and just something that piques our interest as well.
That's fantastic.
But it's not, we're not going out of business. That's not the reason, but we are definitely trying to kind of put in people's mind that it's, there's a reason that a neighborhood is interesting. And a lot of that has to do with the businesses that are, in your neighborhood. And that's true of a lot of neighborhoods in, big cities, and especially in San Francisco. Like every neighborhood used to have a great bookstore and a good video store and a good record store. At least it would serve the immediate neighborhood, and now a lot of those are starting to die. And so we're just trying to, reinforce in people's minds why it's a good idea to keep tabs on your local stores and just remember that they're there.
Yeah, and Valencia is definitely an extreme example. Like 13 years here is a long time. How do you feel about what's your sense of the current arc of the neighborhood, like in terms of like people moving in, people moving out, because there are some, it's such a unique community.
Yeah, and there's a lot of turnover, and that's one of the issues that I think we're facing is, in 2008, like pretty much, business sort of started dipping like everybody else's in September of 2008.
Right.
And I think over that 2-year period, there's been a big turnover in the neighborhood. We've had a lot of our long-term customers have to leave the neighborhood for economic reasons. And so part of the issue has been reaching the new people that are moving in, who are often, maybe they're moving from a different neighborhood or a different city, and they already kind of have their TV or computer or Netflix or whatever it is sort of in their minds, and they're not even really thinking about exploring the neighborhood for a video store. Not that they're choosing not to come to us, but they don't even really think that, they don't even know we're here. So that's been a little bit of the issue, is trying to reach the new people moving in.
What sorts of, has there been any, is this considered part of like an outreach? I hate the word outreach here, but like, how do you reach those people in your opinion?
I think, just, it's subtle. It's just doing things like this, having things that get talked about. And also, we're just trying to have more fun here at the same time. Like, we always have fun, but it's like, you know, we bring the jukebox, and we've had the jukebox for like 5 years. We always, you know, are playing that during the, you know, we have 5,045s in our basement that we rotate in and out of the jukebox. So we do a lot of, you know, the silly things and things that you wouldn't think a video store would do. And it's not really outreach, but it is something that you get people talking about. It's word of mouth, you know, and
showing that you're here.
It can't hurt. You know, it's just something we're just trying to kind of keep the community, because I mean that word gets overused a lot. Community is sort of it's becoming a cliche these days.
Catch-all.
But it is valid. I mean, you know, when you leave your house, you want to have something more to do than just go get something to eat or have a drink, you know, or get a haircut. I guess those are the few things you can't have shipped to you via the internet or digitally downloaded. Yeah, drink. But, you know, there is something to be said for being able to spend a half an hour or an hour in your bookstore browsing, or your video store, you know, just getting opinions from people, meeting people, running into your neighbors. You know, that's sort of what we're trying to build a little more.
That's awesome.
And it ebbs and flows. The neighborhood changed. I mean, during the .com, a lot of people came and went, you know, and it took a little while for us to reach those people after they moved in and out.
What was the initial inspiration to open this here? Like the first, like, were you already part of the Word Again community here, or what made you want to open this?
The three of us, it's me and Adam and Christy, and we all were in the music business prior to this. Pardon?
What did you do?
I was a drummer in a band called Engine 88. Adam was a drummer in a band called Jawbreaker.
You were in Engine 88?
Yes.
It's one of my... God damn it. We'll talk after this.
Okay. And Christy managed bands and worked, you know, like toured through Europe with bands. So she also had music connections, and she and I worked together in a company that helped manage Adam's band. So that was our connection, and that's sort of how this started. But we also just loved movies, and it just sort of happened organically. And as far as this neighborhood, it was just where we lived. You know, it was just sort of where we were based. And so we kept an eye out, and the storefront came open, and I mean, that was 1997, so things have changed quite a bit since then.
What stayed the most the same about this area?
I mean, a lot of the businesses are still here. You know, Aquarius, Modern Times, Dog-Eared Books. You know, sort of a lot of the businesses we care about have been surviving. And I think a lot of that has to do with the neighborhood being really great and supportive. And, you know, the things that we're noticing now is just the amount of restaurants opening up and just sort of a, you know, a little different vibe going on.
A little different vibe. Do you feel like it's sustainable, or... I mean, like, that's a bad question. It's just like... Because we already asked about like how things are going, but like I guess, will the mission survive? I guess.
I really hope so. I think so. I think it's going to take a little bit of cajoling, a little bit of, you know, not outreach, but just reminding people in a nice way. I mean, you know, it's just sort of. I just don't think society is ready to kind of just wipe out an entire way of life that drastically yet. I mean, it might be coming, but, you know, I think that people will kind of stop and go, you know, is this really what we want? Do we just really want to have everything sent to our house and not have anywhere to kind of go and be in a different atmosphere, a different vibe? I mean, and that's my take, and I'm a little older, you know, I've been around a while, and I'm not really a computer person, so I understand that, you know, argument will come back to me and go, oh, you're just a Luddite and that whole thing, but I do think that there's definitely a place for stores like this, you know, a place for small record stores. I mean, and I really hope so, because I think people will be missing out on a lot of things that they would not be able to get otherwise if they don't support these kinds of stores.
Awesome. Turn this thing off.